Hello and welcome to Random Packet Loss. My name is Kern Maxey and today we have game 2 of round 2 between Edd and James. Edd on the left playing Andromeda and James on the right playing Hasbiroid Engineering the Future. So, yeah, so criminal here. Edd seems to have brought a couple, brought the underdogs, Wayland and Criminal. But yeah, I actually have very little idea what to expect here, so it'll be very interesting to see. But it looks like James has more of an idea. He's dropping targeted marketing. I don't know what that's on. I'm just going to do some fancy editing here to go back and find out what the targeted marketing is on. Okay, I'm back. Targeted marketing is on Account Siphon, so that seems like a good choice. That basically switches off Account Siphon because it will do nothing to prevent James from having money. So I mean, I guess Account Siphon turns into both players gain 10, which is not great, and you gain 2 tags. So yeah, well, James, why can't you do what Ben does and just put an Account Siphon on the card? So yeah, a very interesting piece of tech out of HB here. I believe I've heard it argued as sort of like almost like a replacement for Christium. I mean, it certainly does, like, it's a much more of a hard counter to Siphon. Of course, the problem being is that it can just go away. But it looks like Edd is getting kind of a good sort of Andromeda starter here. We've got Term on Desperado, we've got Hedge Fund, Fairy John Masanori, so it looks like we're making the efficient runs here. Get our sec testing and we're sorted. This is before Temujin, so before things go completely nonsense. And it looks like we're having advanced assembly lines for uber efficiency, where you install it and then res and use it on your opponent's turn to then get the extra ETF credit. So I believe this is the jammy HB that him and Ben Nee worked on, where it doesn't run any. It doesn't run any asset economy. It doesn't run any Adonis or Eve campaigns. It just runs operation economy, very quick operation economy. So things like lateral growth, blue level clearance, things like that. And the idea is to rush behind ice very quickly, and then you have 3 biotics in the deck. So this is so here we go. His blue level clearance, very good card for rush, just gain you money and draw. And Majesty Hall is an interesting one. I'm guessing that he's hoping to just go all in on Siphon. So we've got tech testing here, so that's a pretty efficient run. That's 1 click for 3 credits and a draw. It's like Spike Hammer in Geist, except you have to spend a clip. So a special order for, I presume, some sort of ice-breaking device. Okay, so there's Corroder. So that should corrode any barriers we have lying around. So Andromeda kind of getting set up fairly quickly here. Oh, she's missing a code gate breaker here. So I do apologise if my commentary is a little bit lackluster here, because I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea how to play proper Criminal, and Geist doesn't count because he's a mini faction. He is a shaper who can play Account Siphon for no influence. So we're getting more money and icing off archives, and that should prevent this economy engine that Edd has built up. And this is always the problem with the criminal economy engine, where you're trying to... Sun Architect. This has got the fairy there. I think you definitely fairy through that. But yeah, if when you're the criminal economy engine is amazing against like asset spam decks like MBN, where you've always got an open server. But against all these more glacier decks, or these decks with not many servers, they can very easily just block off all these things, and all you have to do is make the server cost a couple of credits to get in, and that just completely ruins the economy engine. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a Mongoose to deal with that Architect. Well, I mean, Mongoose is a fantastic breaker just because it's kind of... I mean, it's some things it's amazing with, sometimes some things it isn't. It's kind of it's very interesting break from a design perspective, given that the boosting ability is really rubbish. Well, not really rubbish, but pretty rubbish. But the breaking ability is fantastic. So Architect ends up being 3 credits, which is only 1 credit more than Mimic. And you got to understand that Mimic is just an amazingly efficient breaker, with the downside that some things you can't break without tricks, like Data Suck and all that. So, yeah, for Architect, for Mongoose to be able to break it for 3 credits and still have the ability to break higher strength things in a pinch is really, really good. It is still, you know, horrendously inefficient for large ice, but you know what? Sometimes you just want the answer. You just don't want the subroutines to fire. And that's what Fairy's for, right? It's good card flip there. Okay, so it looks like he's set testing this server. I think James wondering whether he can... Okay, so I think the debate here is that... so Ed is set tested this advanced assembly lines, and James wondering if he has a window after the set test and before the click to then pop it, to then that makes the server disappear and means that the set testing will basically do nothing. And this is because advanced assembly lines, you cannot use the ability during a run. So that was just kind of clarifying there that... so yeah, it looks like they decided, I think this is correct, that James does have a window after the set testing is declared to then put advanced assembly lines before Ed spends the click. This can be the trouble with Netrunner sometimes, is that it's very easy to kind of, you know, talk quickly and use shorthand, not realising that the opponent has a response. I think advanced assembly lines is definitely one of the more problematic cards for that, because, I don't know, the fact you can't use it during a run makes it quite unusual, and people don't always expect it. So I think if you're playing advanced assembly lines, you can't be too really on it with telling players to stop between clicks. So you can get your advanced assembly lines window without causing any issues with timing. So as we're getting a sec testing, and that's an itchy. It's just Ed's gonna fall because he now kind of, I mean, does he maybe clicks through it or breaks it with Mongoose? Either way, he's not getting efficient economy at all. So yeah, it looks like he's just going to click through the itchy and take the money. So, you know, 3 clicks for 3 credits in a card, which is only slightly more efficient than just clicking for credits, so that's not great. But I guess, you know, he made James res that ice on Archives, but James has a lot of money, and I imagine he's quite prepared to res that ice on R&D, and once he does that, I mean, Ed has no economy engine at that point. I wonder if we'll see something like a Katie Jones as like a backup econ engine. Remember back when I played, you know, back in the mists of time when Criminal was actually the best deck. You'd kind of always run Katie Jones as sort of like your backup econ engine in case you did run up against like a ETF Glacier deck. But
I will go for credit.
ugh. So his turn was using his 4 clicks. He gained 4 credits on 1 card. Ugh. This is the trouble with Criminal, really. I think Temujin which is the Temujin Contract, which is the new card coming out in Blood Money, which so I'm not going to talk about it too much here because this is in the future, but that will make Crim a lot more efficient, I think. Looks like I get a dirty laundry. Oh, looks like I get a dirty laundry on archives. So that's still slightly more efficient. You're still having to spend the 3 clicks to gain, was it? To gain 6 and a card. That's okay. And he just runs to Jackson just to force the pop. I mean, at some point, James wants to start actually looking at scoring, like creating a taxing scoring remote and just start jamming stuff in it. Ed's economy is just not sustainable at the moment, so you can very easily tax him out of that remote, I believe. I mean, it is still a bit slow for this deck, I think. I mean, I've played very similar deck to this. I played at Nationals, and by this point, I mean, I'm usually quite hot on just trying to score out. Let's try and just rush out an agenda within the first couple of turns. But also, we're just going to get a biotic ABT there. The question is, will he trigger it? And I think the answer has to be yes. I mean, come on, you always trigger ABT. Always.
Do I trigger ABT?
Yes, do it. Do it. Trigger the ABT. Go on, do it, James. Do it for us. Come on. Trigger it. Trigger it. Do it. Do it. Go on. Go on. Yay! Oh, that is an ABT right there. And this, my friends, is why you always trigger ABT. Because as you can see here, it never goes wrong. It is all upside. Always trigger ABT. That is just... See, I mean that... So I mean, James was already kind of ahead. But... He's... I mean... If he wasn't already winning, that ABT has basically just won him the game already, I think. I do wonder if he... I can't wonder what his scoring plan is. I mean, is he just literally planning to sit back and biotic out every single agenda? Which... I mean, then again, if he's drawn like... If he's drawn 3 of his biotics, and that, you know, I believe there's an Archive Memories in the deck, it's not the worst plan. I mean, part of me wonders if you do want to still kind of create a remote and whether ABTing out a remote might have been a good plan, but I don't know. Either way, that ABT probably just, yeah, I'd say it probably just wins in the game. Such a swingy card, that. I certainly think that the existence of global food made ABT a lot better. I certainly remember in the olden days, you'd just never fire ABT unless you're severely behind or you had a Jackson, just because the cost of throwing a 3-pointer in the bin was just too high. You just couldn't take that risk. But now global food, it makes that risk a bit less because you're not as bothered if you lose like a 2-pointer. 2-2-pointers is still horrific, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be if you lost a 3-pointer. Because a 3-pointer is effectively 2 agendas, because it makes... If you think about it, at the moment, the runner needs 4 agendas to win with global food. If they can actually steal 3 points, then that is an extra agenda, because that means they only need 2 agendas left. Which is again why things like freedom to equality are so good, because it is effectively just scoring an extra one of your 4 agendas that you need to win the game as runner. Ugh, that sec testing is not going to do much work here anymore. I don't know what Ed's out is here. I mean, I don't know the deck very well. I don't know Criminal very well, so we'll really just have to see. But I mean, Siphon's turned off. Sec testing is basically turned off here. We've seen no multi-access yet, but even then, I mean, you just need to kind of... There's probably some R&DIs and the legwork or two, but I'm just kind of making pot shots at that point. And that's probably... I mean, there's an upgrade there in HQ. I'm gonna, you know, bet that that's just a Chrysium. And even if it isn't a Chrysium, it's certainly put there to look like a Chrysium. So, you know, Ed's probably not going to be all that interested in legworking. I mean, you could turn account Siphon back on by stealing an agenda and getting rid of targeted marketing. But I don't know if that's going to get him very far. Is he playing Rebirth there? Looks like we're getting a Rebirth. And rebirthing into Leela. This seems like a solid play. It is really kind of unfortunate that most of the ice and everything is already rezzed. I mean, I almost wonder if you rebirth into something like Ian here just to get some economy. I mean, I know it's really dumb, but this is probably why I don't play Criminal. We've got a second upgrade in HQ. This is just brutal. Ugh. The ABT, man. Always fire the ABT. Always. Okay, so I've got a turning ball here. Good card in Criminal, seems solid. Looks like we're just going to go for a run on R&D. I don't know what click this is. It looks like those click trackers haven't moved since quite a while ago. I think it was click 1 install turning wheel, click 2 run. That means he has 2 clicks left for the Victor 2. Oh no, it looks like he made a run and just jacked out for a turning wheel counter and then they cleared the tag. That is... I don't like that, to be honest. That is... So you're spending 2 clicks and 2 credits for half an access in the future. Looks like we're just going to get a Bartek out of ABT. Will you fire it, James? Come on, James. Come on. Fire it for me. You firing it? Ah. James doesn't need to fire it. No, he's totally right not to fire it here. I mean, he's already winning. He's already had 1 good ABT. Be pushing your luck to go for a second. You're far more likely just to dump agendas in archives, which will give at least a chance of winning, than you are to make your board state better. It does look like James's plan here is literally just a Bartek every agenda. But again, he's probably going to manage that. Yeah, I mean, he has a million money there. He's probably going to want Jackson back in some biotics or just archive memories, one of them. So I believe there's 3 biotics in the deck and 1 archive memories. I believe. At least that was what was in the list that Benny published. And yes, I believe these guys worked in the deck together, I think. Certainly, from what I've heard from James, he had he's at the very least had a much bigger hand in the deck than people often believe. But it looks like we're going to fem that. I believe that's an assassin. Go run through. There's an Ash there. And can't beat the Ash Trace. Can't trash it even. James can just turtle up here. Nothing stopping him. Well, at least he got another half an access on turning wheel. I don't see how you win here as Edd. I mean, I don't see how you do it, because really as criminal you want to have at least scored like a couple of points. And Edd just hasn't managed that. It looks like he's going to James has created a new emote and Ed's going to sec test it, and James is going to res that just to say screw you. Look how much money James has. So much. Oh, looks like he's just farming counters here. So the question is Edd just going to bite and... Okay, yeah, so it's not an agenda. I'd always be tempted as James to just leave it there and let Edd try and click through it and waste his turn. But it's probably better off just advancing his board state so he can score here. Just create a very quick scoring server. Oof. Is he just going to tag me? Or has he already cleared the tag? Or... I can't tell if Edd, because he should be getting a Masanori tag every time the first time it's an unsuccessful run. I can't tell if he's. I mean, he must be clearing it. There's no way you'll keep the tag, because James will just quite happily just trash the turning wheel. It's one possible. Edd's got a last possible avenue here, and James will be quite happy just to trash it, just to cut that off. Inside job. Well, I can still click through it. Yeah, fair enough. Everyone always forgets inside job. But as I say, James doesn't really care at this point. He's ahead enough. They can just keep shoving stuff in here. Edd's going to run out of ways of getting to the server sooner or later. Oh no! Target marketing's gone. Quick Edd, siphon him. It's your only chance. It's hard to really say how much work Tamar did, but I think it probably did quite a lot. I mean, certainly first turn, it means that Edd just can't take advantage of that early pressure. I mean, with HQ open, turn 1 siphon, or like even just like turn 2 or 3 siphon would just be brutal. So the only real downside to that card is that it's a current, and unless you're Soul, that is going to go away at some point. But I mean, if you know what's in your opponent's deck, it can be just really oppressive, especially early on. If you know what card the opponent needs to get set up, targeted marketing early will it can just dismantle them, because it forces them to either just stunt their growth early on, or give you however many credits, like 10 credits each time they play the card. Now as a runner, it's just, you can't really allow that. You can't, if they target marketing something which you want to install 3 of, you can't let them have it. You can't let them have those 30 credits. That is, well, looks like James going for the win here. To install double advance, which I would imagine is a global food. Can't imagine what else it would be. And I think James feels pretty safe about this server. I don't know what code gate breakers Edd is running, but I mean, even got something like Gordian Blade, he'd have to install it for 4.
Okay,
And even though it kind of makes a mockery of that Turing server, it's not good enough. It's just not.
okay. About.
Looks like Ed might be.
Spending 2 credits to avoid tag.
Okay, so he's just going to bounce off R&D, clear the tag. Inside job this server again. Oh no, he's inside jobbing R&D. Also just going for the Turning Your Glory one here.
Get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like he's clicking through the Victor and then
3.
breaking the Itchy.
In order.
He's going to see a lot of cards to score. Oh, bouncing the global food.
And I'll bounce.
Oh God.
That
If Ed wins this, it's going to be so heartbreaking for James.
hell.
Oh no.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh. Okay, well done to Ed, I have to say. Well. Oh, so no. That isn't game. That isn't. That is. Is it?
I have no idea. It's
Uh.
isn't it?
Okay. Sure.
No, I don't think that's game. I think that's. I think Ed is on 6 points here because he stole 2 Kronos. That is just brutal for James. So he's now got to try and store that global food again. And so,
You might still win it.
I think James is still in a good position, but now just that Ed's one lucky access away from just winning. And James has to kind of rebuild this server now. He can't because he has to install double advance. So yeah. And I think that's double Turing installed. Yeah, you can't just install double advance because if he does have a 3rd inside job,
Right, I'll go
then yeah, he could just lose.
4 times credits.
I mean, suddenly this is a game. Like, it's been looking like Ed has just been on the back foot for almost the entire game, but all of a sudden. Okay, it looks like installed the global food, now he's just going to double advance it. Can Ed pull this out?
Okay, 1 is draw.
I mean, I still think James has the upper hand here. Certainly, I think that. But as I say, it's just one lucky access. That's all he needs. I mean, as I say, fair play to Ed. He played to his outs, and that was that was a brutal R&D dig. I don't know, was that 4 agendas in like 5? No, 3 agendas in like 5 cards or something stupid. Oh, it's bonkers.
Okay, 2 short gamble.
So on click 2, we're just going to money up.
3. Deja vu.
Deja vu. So 1 click left. So, oh, here we go.
And 4 on play the legwork.
Oh, actually, at last click, we're going to see a legwork.
Right, so how much, so you're
I have no code breaker.
1, 2...
So James just doing the maths here. He has like infinite money here, so he's not too bothered.
Oh, fuck's sake, I don't know.
Take it back if you want.
Yeah.
Take it all back. Just can't get through Ash.
Okay, so basically James is pointing out that Ed can't get through Ash, and he's being you know, very lovely about it and allowing Ed just to kind of, you know, to take his turn back. Because, you know, obviously he wouldn't have made those plays if he had clocked that he couldn't get through Ash. So, you know,
At this point,
James is a sporting player. I think that's very sporting of him, especially at a, you know, but especially at a regional where if he had just allowed Ed to do that play, he'd just win. So.
I shouldn't have drawn. No, yeah.
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 I mean, I think James still wins this. Ed just has to fight. Ed just has to pick where to make his glory run. But I'm just not sure if even with that, there's anything you can do.
Inside job.
It looks like you just got deja vu inside job. Okay. What?
Assuming you res that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I can do to try and win.
No, I think you are so. Do you know what? I'll show you why I was so surprised. That's all the agendas in my deck. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
So every single thing that there was left in
I thought you had loads.
So yeah, it looks like we just called Ed the win. Yeah, so Ed has no way of getting in. Looks like James had all his agendas in hand, none in R&D. As well, I was probably a bit bemused about Ed stealing all the other ones out of R&D. But that was a fascinating game there. That, man, well played by both players there. James certainly played very solidly, but Ed just played to his outs there. And sometimes that's as much a skill of Netrunner, is not only knowing how to play. You know, when the matchup's bad, you need to know, okay, I'm probably not going to win this, but what's the way you can most utilise your luck? Like, what plays can I make to maximise the chance of me getting lucky? And, Ed did that beautifully. But, yeah, well done to James. So, yeah, great 2 games there. And so... Yeah, so I've been Kim Maxey, this has been Random Packet Loss, and thank you very much for watching.